Son of a millionaire reveals incredible choice, he picks a caring cleaner over 5 rich women. Alex Montgomery stood at the edge of his father's South Grand estate, its manicured lawn sprawling before him like a gilded cage. The world glittered around him, lavish parties filled with laughter and the smell of expensive perfume, with heiresses flirting like butterflies around a flame. Yet, weighed down by his father's thunderous expectations, Alex felt trapped, isolated. The weight of wealth stifled any chance of true connection. But then, there was Lily. Every morning, she arrived with a warm smile and a humble heart. As she dusted the opulent chandeliers, her laughter rang like music, infusing life into the sterile air. Alex often watched from afar, captivated by her grace. A single mother, she worked tirelessly, juggling multiple jobs, determined to give her daughter a better life. In their conversations over the clinking of cleaning supplies, he found solace. She didn't care about his million-dollar background, she saw him a person, not a paycheck. One sunny afternoon at the annual fair, Alex volunteered at a booth handing out free drinks. The vibrant chaos of the spinning carousel and the mouth-watering scent of cotton candy drew families in droves. Laughter echoed around him as children chased each other, and for the first time, Alex felt free. He didn't wear a suit, instead, he donned an old t-shirt and jeans, blending in with the community. There, amidst the authentic smiles and sincere camaraderie, he embraced a truth he had long ignored: connection was more precious than gold. As the days passed, their friendship deepened. Lily shared stories of her daughter, her struggles, and dreams. Each tale sparked a warmth inside Alex, a growing realization that simple joys were far richer than the elite life he led. He began volunteering at soup kitchens, helping local schools, and suddenly, life seemed vibrant. Every shared meal and every laugh echoed through his heart, igniting a fervor for authenticity that felt foreign yet exhilarating. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. However, with every laugh shared with Lily, the tension at home escalated. His father's booming voice haunted him, dismissing anyone who didn't fit into their social standing. Wealth is a measure of worth, Alex, he would say, as if chaining him to a life he didn't want. Torn between love and loyalty, Alex found himself questioning everything he had known. As the charity gala approached, a glitzy showcase of their world, Alex stood at a crossroads. On the night of the event, wearing a tailored suit that felt like armor, he surveyed the cacophony of affluence around him. He spotted the 5 glamorous heiresses laughing on the dance floor, their eyes sparkling with ambition. But in that moment, he felt a tug towards the one person who truly understood him: Lily. She stood outside, helping with last-minute preparations, her kindness radiating like a guiding star. With each heartbeat, the tension grew. Alex inhaled deeply, aware that his choice could shatter everything he'd ever known. The microphone loomed ahead, a beacon of change. He glanced back at the opulence behind him, the smirks, the whispers. But his heart beat louder than the chaos. Should he embrace love, risking it all for the promise of genuine connection? Only time would tell. As he prepared to speak, the audience holding its breath for the revelation that could redefine not just his destiny, but the essence of who he truly was. The microphone crackled to life, and an electric hush fell over the crowd. Alex could feel every gaze upon him, the glitter and glamour entwined with curious anticipation. His heart raced, each thump echoing in his ears like a countdown. The tension was palpable, and he could see the 5 heiresses exchanging glances, their smiles stiffening, their interest suddenly piqued. Tonight, he began, forcing himself to meet the sea of faces, I want to talk about what truly matters. His voice trembled slightly, but he pressed on, a fire igniting within him. We spend our lives chasing status and wealth, as if that defines our worth. He caught sight of Lily just outside the ballroom doors, her brows slightly furrowed, yet her gaze steady. Taking a breath, he continued, "But I've found something in a simple act of kindness that money can't buy." A ripple of confusion surged through the crowd. Who was this young man, standing alongside the elite, speaking truth so boldly? Alex felt a swell of clarity as he spoke about his recent experiences, the soup kitchens, the laughter of children, and the deep conversations with Lily that unraveled the chains of expectation. He mentioned her daughter, a child full of dreams, her innocent curiosity serving as a reminder of everything he yearned for: connection, authenticity, love. As he was about to mention her name, he hesitated. What would people think if he exposed his heart openly? But then again, why should that matter? Lily, he finally said, and the name hung in the air like a beacon in the night. She's a cleaner in my father's house. But she's so much more than that. A murmur spread through the guests. Their faces twisted in disbelief and intrigue. The heiresses shifted, eyeing each other, sensing a shift in the current that threatened to wash away their carefully polished image. In that moment, Alex felt something inside him grow still, a confidence he'd never known before. No longer bound by the expectations of his father or the glitzy world they occupied, he continued, "It's the people like her who show us what true strength and love look like. They remind us that wealth isn't measured by money, but by the impact we make in each other's lives." Cheers erupted from a small group of volunteers in the back of the room, their arms raised in solidarity. Alex's heartbeat echoed in his ears, but instead of fear, he felt exhilaration. He saw Lily's face light up, a smile breaking across her features. In that instant, he was reminded of the warmth of her laugh, the depth of their conversations, a strength that flourished in the simplicity of being together. As he prepared to sit down, he spotted his father, jaw clenched, eyes burning with rage and disbelief. But for the first time, Alex didn't flinch. Instead, he met his father's gaze with determination. He was done hiding, the atmosphere shifted, people whispered, intrigued, curious about this young man who dared to defy the status quo. But doubt loomed too, weaving through the crowd, especially among the wealthy elite who eyed him with suspicion. Suddenly, a voice pierced through the chatter. "You can't be serious, Alex. Are you really throwing away your future for a cleaning lady?" It was his father, and the room fell under a thick silence again, hearts collectively bracing for the fallout. Alex opened his mouth to respond, tasting defiance on his tongue, but uncertainty flickered through him. All eyes were on him now, waiting to see his next move. Would he retreat back to the gilded cage or step forward into the unknown? The clock ticked, a choice hung heavy in the air, and life was about to change forever. Would he reclaim his life or succumb to the expectations? The moment of truth was at hand. Alex's heart pounded as he weighed his father's words. The room felt like it was shrinking, pressing in around him like an impending storm. He could feel the weight of everyone's eyes, their curious faces shifting from admiration to disbelief. Doubt threatened to creep back into his mind, but he couldn't let it. "No," Alex finally said, his voice stronger than he felt. "I'm not throwing my future away. I'm choosing to live a real life." Those words hung in the air, stark and defiant against the backdrop of luxury surrounding them. He could see his father's face twist further, disbelief morphing into anger, as murmurs began to ripple through the well-heeled audience. "Real life?" His father shot back, eyes blazing. "You think crawling through drains and scrubbing floors is real life? I've worked too hard for you to throw it away." With each word, Alex felt a fire starting to build inside him, fueled by all the moments he had spent in the shadow of his father's expectations. He thought of the laughter he shared with Lily, of the warmth that enveloped him when they talked about dreams and the world beyond their realities. Real life is about connection. It's about people. It's about love. Alex burst out, his voice echoing across the ballroom, cutting through the tense atmosphere. The crowd shifted, captivated. It's about recognizing that the worth of a person doesn't come from how much their family has in the bank, but from their heart and the lives they touch. The cheers and claps from the volunteers at the back grew louder, their support weaving through the hush. Alex's breath steadied, bolstered by their enthusiasm. He turned to Lily, who stood amongst the crowd, an embodiment of everything he cherished. Her face was a whirlwind of emotions: fear, pride, hope, and maybe just a hint of love. The heiresses frowned, their carefully curated personas cracking as they recalibrated in the face of genuine emotion. With a glance at each of them, a chill of realization swept through Alex. They had spent their lives wearing masks, chasing shadows of approval. "Hasn't it dawned on you yet?" he continued, feeling the power of his own voice. "You're living in a bubble. A dream where money and glamour define you. What if, for once, you stepped outside and saw the beauty in the struggle? The richness in the everyday lives of ordinary people?" As he spoke, he saw his father shift, open-mouthed and frantic as he processed this unforeseen rebellion. The silence in the room took on a different quality, a collective breath held as spectators awaited his next words, their faces glowing with curiosity, and then he dared to say it, the thing that could fracture everything. "I will not marry for wealth or status. I will marry for love." This statement pierced through the lingering doubt, puncturing the air like a pin in a balloon. Shockwaves cascaded through the room, and gasps erupted from the crowd. It was as if they were witnessing a revolution in real time. His father's face blanched, eyes widening in horror. "You're a fool, Alex. You're ruining your life," he hissed, desperation seeping into his voice. "Maybe," Alex admitted, taking a steadying breath. "But maybe it's time for a new definition of success." He glanced at Lily, who now stood in the doorway, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "I want to build a life that means something, not just for me, but for everyone around me. People like Lily." The applause grew, rippling through the crowd. He felt a surge of courage, the exhilaration racing through his veins, as if chains were breaking around him, setting him free. "Leave!" his father practically shouted, anger enthralling his voice. "If that's what you want, then go." And just like that, Alex made a choice. He took a step toward the crowd, his heart pounding hard with freedom, and looked back one last time at his father. "I choose kindness, real connections, and love over all this," he declared, motioning at the opulence around him. The crowd erupted into cheers, but all Alex could see was Lily, who was now stepping forward, her heart reflecting the light of something beautiful. As their eyes locked, Alex felt an adrenaline pulse through him, a leading whisper urging him to move forward. In that precious moment, he felt a deep certainty. He was ready to break from the past. Unbeknownst to him, though, storms were brewing in both their lives, and outside the embrace of the ballroom, the world awaited with challenges that would test his resolve far beyond this night. Would he be strong enough to face what lay ahead? As Alex stepped into the electric atmosphere of the ballroom, the cheers faded into a murmur of disbelief. His father's harsh words still echoed in his ears, but the fire within him burned brighter than ever. The reality of his choice sunk in. He was out on his own, a lone wanderer stepping into uncharted territory. Lily rushed to his side, her eyes wide and tearful. "Are you okay?" she asked, concern lacing her voice. Alex nodded, though he could feel the tremor in his hands. I think I just took the first big step." But even as he said it, he felt the weight of uncertainty settle in his chest. What lay ahead felt daunting. The idea of a life without the cushion of wealth was terrifying. He could almost hear the whispers of his peers, the doubts creeping in, taunting him about his foolishness. As the applause lingered, Alex took a deep breath and began to walk through the crowd. It wasn't just about him anymore. His heart raced with the knowledge that others were watching him, perhaps hoping to find strength in his decision. The emotional support he felt from his friends and the volunteers was tangible, wrapping around him like a warm embrace. But there was one person he needed to speak to, the very person who had inspired this bold leap. He turned to Lily, who stood by him, the light of her spirit glowing amidst the chaos surrounding them. "What do we do now?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Her smile broke through, glowing with a mix of admiration and excitement. We find out what this new life looks like together. I think we get to define our paths, not them. With hard work and love, but what if it's too hard? He interrupted, doubt invading the moment. What if I can't handle it? Then we handle it together, Lily replied firmly, determination shining in her gaze. We create our own success story. One that goes beyond wealth or status. As they shared that hopeful moment, the surrounding crowd began to disperse, leaving behind remnants of stunned murmurs. Alex knew that this was merely the beginning. He could feel the road ahead stretching infinitely, a mixture of excitement and trepidation coiling in his stomach. He and Lily stepped outside into the cool night air, the buzz of the city surrounding them. Streetlights flickered above, illuminating the path ahead. Alex paused, inhaling deeply, embracing the sense of freedom that came from rejection. I want to help people, he declared, his eyes shining with fervor. I want to make a difference. Lily took his hand, squeezing it tightly, her pulse working in tandem with his. And we will, she assured him, but we need a plan. There are people who need us, and we can't forget we have to start small. Before they could delve deeper into their vision, a distant yet urgent commotion caught their attention. Alex turned to see a group of volunteers rushing toward a nearby alley, their voices raised in a mixture of alarm and intent. Curiosity piqued, he and Lily shared a glance, a silent agreement passing between them. Let us go see, Alex said, feeling that familiar rush of determination. Together, they hurried toward the chaos, ready to face whatever surprise awaited them. As they rounded the corner, the image that unfolded gripped Alex's heart. A crowd had gathered around a struggling family, their fateful weariness painted on their faces. It was a raw moment, a slice of reality that echoed everything Alex had just spoken against in the ballroom. A fire ignited within him. This was the reality he had chosen to embrace, and it would demand every ounce of his strength and compassion. Could he truly rise to the occasion and make a difference? Would the struggles only deepen his resolve, or would they threaten to wear him down? In that moment, Alex understood that the road ahead was more than just a choice. It was a journey into the unknown, and he was ready to discover where it would lead. The chaos in the alley surrounded them like a storm, voices rising in urgency. Alex could see a mother holding a child, her hands trembling as she tried to soothe the little one, tears streaming down her face. Next to her, an older man leaned against the wall, his body looking frail and worn. The crowd was a mix of curiosity and concern, but Alex felt something deeper, an ache in his heart. What is going on? He asked a nearby volunteer, a man with a clipboard and a worried expression. They just lost everything in a fire, the volunteer explained, his voice strained. They need immediate assistance, food, clothes, anything we can offer. Alex's breath caught. Just hours before, he was in a ballroom filled with luxury and opulence. Now, here stood a family stripped of their dignity, struggling against despair. He glanced at Lily, whose eyes mirrored his shock but also flashed with determination. We can't just stand here, she said, stepping closer to the family. What can we do? Start collecting donations, the man shouted back, glancing around. We need food, clothes, and blankets. Someone call the local shelters. Without thinking, Alex found himself moving toward the mother. What do you need? He asked, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. The woman looked up, her eyes an ocean of sorrow. We just need a place to stay tonight. The baby, she's scared. In that moment, Alex felt the warmth of purpose wash over him. We'll find you a place, he promised, taking a step closer. It felt absurd, thinking he could fix this with mere words, but it was something. At least, Lily was already talking to another volunteer, organizing supplies. Alex could hear snippets of her voice over the rising noise of the crowd. Her spirit seemed to energize those around her, igniting a sense of urgency. Okay, everyone, listen up. She called out, clapping her hands to get everyone's attention. We're going to set up a donation station right here. I need help gathering resources. Who can go get clothes and food? We'll need extra hands to distribute. Alex felt a swell of pride for her leadership. This was the Lily he'd known, the one who could inspire action even in the bleakest situations. As people started to rally around them, the earlier doubts began to clear from Alex's mind. This is what he had been searching for: purpose, a connection that mattered. Let us break into groups, he shouted, feeling a surge of adrenaline. If anyone knows of local shelters or food banks, reach out. Call them. He wasn't a seasoned leader, but in that moment, he embraced his role. It didn't matter that he came from wealth. Right then, he was just Alex, an ally in a fight for survival. The tension in the alley shifted. With each moment, the crowd began to transform from passive observers into active participants. Bags of shoes and jackets appeared, and people began pouring in with food. But Alex's heart still bore the weight of uncertainty. How long could they sustain this effort? He rushed back to Lily. What if it's not enough? What if they don't find a stable place tonight? Then we fight harder, she said firmly, her eyes shining with purpose. There are always ways to help, and we're not going to stop until we find them. This is just the beginning. Alex nodded, feeling the fire inside him reignite. The reality he faced was daunting, but here amidst the noise and chaos, he finally understood, this fight was worth it, and every small act of kindness could lead to something larger. As they continued to work, a realization washed over him: this was what he wanted. A life filled with connection and purpose, standing side by side with people who cared. But even as hope swelled within him, another thought emerged, a haunting question. What if helping others came at a cost he wasn't ready to pay? The night was just shaping up, and Alex had a lot to learn, but as the crowd's energy surged, he felt the ripple of possibility. The urgent fight for change had only just begun, and he could only hope to be ready for what lay ahead. Could he truly find his way in this unpredictable journey? Would he stand firm as the challenges arose? The scene in the alley pulsed with energy. Alex felt the surge of people around him, their determination tangible. He watched as volunteers hustled, each person contributing with a sense of urgency. It was astounding how a single moment of crisis could pull everyone together, but the weight of the situation hung heavy. Over here. A voice called out. It was an older woman, her gray hair slipping from the clip holding it back. She had brought a stack of blankets, her arms straining under their weight. Who needs blankets? Alex rushed over, grabbing a few from her, but he could see others were already on it. His heart swelled with relief. Maybe they really could make a difference tonight. Lily! He shouted, spotting her directing the flow of donations. She was in the thick of it, her hands moving as if conducting an orchestra. He admired how she commanded the space, rallying the crowd, her voice cutting through the chaos with clarity and purpose. They need more supplies. Can we set up a collection point on the corner? Great idea. She replied, glancing up. The fire in her eyes was infectious. Let us move. She whipped around, steadying herself before taking charge again. Everyone, we're going to expand. 2 teams, one for food and another for clothes. As the group spread out, Alex turned back toward the family. The mother still cradled the baby, who had now fallen asleep against her chest. There was a sadness in the mother's gaze that pierced Alex's heart, reminding him of the stark divide between his life and theirs. Here he was, a son of privilege, and yet he was driven to help those who had lost everything. Is there anything else you need? He asked her softly. She shook her head, but her eyes flickered again with profound gratitude, a language that needed no words. Alex returned to work, his mind racing. As he organized a pile of clothing next to Lily, he felt a sense of urgency deep within him. What if they couldn't find a shelter soon? Or what if the donations weren't enough? Hey, he caught Lily's attention, desperation breaking through. What's the plan if the night goes on and we can't find them a place? She paused, considering. We adapt, she said finally, her brow furrowed but resolute. We find a community center or a church. There's always a way to help. Her confidence sparked something in him. This was more than a random act of kindness, it was a call to action. At that moment, he understood. He didn't have to have all the answers. His heart was in it, and that was enough to keep pushing forward. Minutes turned into an hour. The alley transformed into a makeshift relief hub, laughter mingling with cries of distress. The crowd was bonded now, navigating both the urgency and the hope that hung in the air. They worked together, hands exchanging boxes of food and bundles of clothes as they sorted through the donations that continued to flood in, but deep down, Alex still felt the nagging question bubble to the surface: what happened when the night turned into tomorrow? Could he really shoulder the weight of this responsibility? Then he noticed something. The older man, who had been leaning against the wall earlier, was slowly stepping forward with a gamely expression. He looked to the mother and said, "I have a small shed." It's not much, but its warm hope flickered in Alex's chest, yet he could sense the dust of uncertainty settling on everyone's hearts once more. Would this offer be enough? Before he could reflect too deeply, a raucous cheer erupted nearby. A couple of volunteers had uncovered a stash of socks and hats, and the relief spread like wildfire among the crowd. "Let us keep this going," Lily shouted into the night, her spirit unyielding. Alex wanted to feel the same conviction, but shadows of doubt danced on the fringes of his joy. In that moment, Alex realized this fight was far from done. Challenges loomed ahead, and the fight for compassion had only just begun. Could he confront the looming trials that awaited them? He placed a hand on his chest, steadying himself against the swell of feelings. The weight felt heavy, but somehow, he felt anchored. What other truths about himself would he discover through this journey? The night deepened, the shadows stretching and curling around the alley like tendrils of doubt. Alex worked tirelessly alongside the volunteers, their laughter mingling with the low hum of conversations. Yet, within him swirled a tumult of emotions, a battle between hope and apprehension. "Over here," Lily called, motioning for Alex. "We're going to need more hands to sort the food. Can you grab those boxes?" "Got it," he shouted back, moving toward the stack of crates. As he lifted one, he could feel the weight of it both physically and emotionally. Each box felt like a lifeline for those who had lost so much. As they worked, Alex couldn't shake the feeling of being on the precipice. He was stepping into a world he had always skimmed the surface of, a realm where struggles weren't just stories in the news, but raw experiences felt in every heartbeat. "Remember, no matter how small an act might seem, it could mean the world to someone," Lily reminded everyone, her voice ringing out with confidence. "Let us keep pushing." Her words struck a chord within him. The fight wasn't just about delivering supplies, it was about showing that someone cared. That sentiment wrapped around each handoff of a coat or a warm meal, and Alex felt something deeper in each interaction. Just then, the baby in the mother's arms stirred awake, its tiny wails cutting through the din. The mother whispered soothing words, her face a mix of love and exhaustion. Alex took a step toward her. "Is there anything more you need?" he asked again, desperation catching in his throat. Just a little rest," she said softly, her voice barely a whisper. That response hit him hard. She wasn't asking for luxury, just a moment of peace amidst the storm. Suddenly, Lily appeared beside him, her hands cupping a small cup of steaming something. "It's hot chocolate," she said, her expression warm. "Here, why don't you take it to her?" Alex took the cup with a nod, his heart swelling with gratitude for his friend's thoughtfulness. As he knelt beside the mother, he offered her the warm drink. "This might help a bit," he said, praying it would bring her some comfort. Their eyes locked, and for a brief moment, the world around them faded. He saw the weight of her struggles reflected back at him, her life intertwined with those of countless others facing hardship. But amidst the burden, a flicker of gratitude unspooled in her gaze, offering him a glimpse of connection that transcended their different worlds. "Thank you," she said, her voice richer, filled with a warmth that made his chest ache. He returned to his feet, a newfound determination coursing through him. He wanted to do more. His mind raced with ideas, thoughts of how they could expand their reach, how they could gather more supplies, how they could unite the community to stand together against the ongoing challenges. "Lily," he called, rushing to her side. "What if we organized a meeting tomorrow to mobilize even more help? We could reach out to local businesses, see if they can donate food or supplies for future nights." Her eyes sparkled with possibility. "That's brilliant. We can create a social media campaign, get the word out." The crowd, once strangers, felt like family. And yet, as the night wore on, a new wave of worry crashed over him. They were building something beautiful, but could it sustain itself? His thoughts turned back to the mother, the baby nestled against her. Would they be okay tomorrow? As if reading his mind, Lily placed a hand on his shoulder, grounding him. "We'll find a way, Alex. Together." Just then, the sound of a police siren blared in the distance, cutting through the night, a stark reminder of the troubles lingering just outside their makeshift sanctuary. An uneasy feeling gripped him. What if they try to shut us down? A voice murmured from the crowd, fear threading through it like a chill wind. Alex turned, locking eyes with Lily. They both felt the gravity of the situation hang heavy in the air. They had come so far, but was it enough to face what loomed ahead? Tomorrow would be a test, a revelation waiting to unfold. What decisions would define their next steps? Would fear paralyze them, or could they rise to meet it, ready to embrace the uncertainty and challenge that awaited? The night as hopeful flickers seemed to dim, replaced by a sense of looming dread. And in the heart of the crowd, where hope was meant to flourish, an unexpected question hung like a fragile thread. Would their efforts be enough when the dawn broke? The dawn broke, casting a pale light over the alley where flickers of hope had sparked the night before. Alex tossed and turned in his sleep, tangled in the remnants of worry. He had dreamed of the mother and her baby, their smiling faces intertwined with the shadows of uncertainty. He finally pushed himself upright, squinting against the sunlight slanting through his window. The reality of the day washed over him like a tidal wave. Today was pivotal. He was ready to face it, though a knot of anxiety twisted in his stomach. Lily's message was simple and clear: let us meet at the community center at noon. Bring everyone you can. He grabbed a quick breakfast, his mind racing through the possibilities. Local businesses could be a lifeline, but would they respond? Would they see the value in helping? The questions twisted within his chest, leaving him unsettled and restless. By mid-morning, the streets buzzed with a wakeful energy. Alex felt electric as he joined Lily and a handful of volunteers at the community center, their faces lit with determination. Conversation sparked around him, laughter punctuated by nervous glances toward the doors. He understood their fears, but there was also something beautiful simmering in the air, a sense of unity. "Okay, everyone," Lily called, raising her voice to gather attention. "Thank you for coming today. We're here to take a stand, to show that our community cares and supports those who need it most." Alex shifted closer, feeling the warmth in her tone seep into him. This was just the kind of encouragement they needed. As they began to outline plans and initiatives, voices grew louder, feeding into one another's excitement. Alex felt his own pulse quicken, a veritable drumbeat of enthusiasm echoing through the room. But the fear whispered still in the back of his mind. What if they failed? Lily caught his eye, the corners of her mouth lifting softly. "What's wrong?" she asked, sensing the storm inside him. "What if we can't get enough support?" He admitted, the words tasting heavy on his tongue. "What if it's not enough?" She reached out, squeezing his hand. "We're already doing more than we ever have. If we don't try, we fail for sure. But if we do, we can change lives." The weight of her words fell upon him like a blanket, steadying the chaos inside. With renewed resolve, he turned to the crowd, their faces a collage of hope and determination. "I have an idea." He blurted out, igniting the room's energy. What if we host a community event affair with food, games, and a donation drive? We could invite everyone, let people see who we are and what we're capable of. Brilliant! A voice chimed from the back, and others quickly joined in, ideas flowing like water, live music, a raffle, a potluck where every dish told its own story. As suggestions flew, laughter blossomed like flowers in spring, and camaraderie wrapped around the room tighter than ever. But just as hope surged, there came the unmistakable sound of sirens once more. The chatter halted abruptly, eyes darting toward the sound echoing down the street. Each face wore the same apprehension. "Are they coming for us?" someone whispered. Alex's heart raced. The fear that had been a soft murmur was now a cacophony. Lily stepped forward, her voice steady. "Whatever happens, we stand together. We can't let them silence our bravery, our compassion. Are you with us?" Alex cried, uncertainty mingling with determination. There was a ripple through the crowd. Heads nodded, a chorus of agreement ringing in the air. The sirens grew louder, a reminder of the looming battle outside. Would they face the threat head-on, rallying behind their cause? Would the community rise to support them against all odds? As the first officer stepped into view outside, Alex's breath caught in his throat, heart pounding against the question that lingered in the air: would they defend the hope they had fought so hard to build? The door swung open, and an officer stepped inside, uniform crisp, expression stern. The room fell silent, tension wrapping around them like a thick fog. Alex's insides twisted. The officer scanned the crowd, hardened eyes sweeping over their faces. "Excuse me," he said, voice loud enough to command attention. "I need to speak with whoever is in charge." Lily straightened, her courage shining through her fear. "That would be me," she replied, taking a step forward, chin lifted defiantly. "We're just planning a community event to support our neighbors." The officer's expression softened slightly, but the tension didn't fade. "We've had complaints about noise in this area. How you plan to manage that?" Whispers rippled through the crowd. Complaints? Had they really already begun to be seen as a nuisance? "We'll keep it peaceful," Alex interjected, his heart racing as he stepped up beside Lily. "This is about coming together, about supporting those who need it." His voice had an edge of sincerity, not just for their cause, but for unity. "Listen, I'm not here to shut you down," the officer said, a hint of curiosity cutting through his formality. "Just follow the noise regulations and keep things orderly." Relief washed over Alex, but it mingled with the realization of how fragile this moment truly was. Everyone was looking to him and Lily for strength, their courage dangling by a thread. "Thank you," Lily said, offering a polite smile that revealed her earnestness. "We promise to keep it calm and helpful. Our goal is to lift our neighbors, not disrupt the peace." The officer nodded, seeming almost impressed. "I'll be paying attention." With that, he turned and left, the door swinging shut behind him. A collective breath filled the room, the air suddenly lighter. Alex felt the tension dissolve as laughter broke out once more, emboldened by the officer's unexpected leniency. "I can't believe that worked," someone exclaimed, the joy infectious. "And he said he wasn't here to shut us down," Alex noted, a spark of realization igniting. "What if this is our chance to build a bridge?" Lily nodded, excitement bubbling in her voice. "We can invite the officers. Let them see what we're doing. It's all about community." The room erupted in cheers, energy skyrocketing as ideas bounced around once more. Alex's heart soared along with them. They could show everyone, even those who initially pushed back, that they were more than just trouble. Yet, amid the excitement, doubt still lingered. What if the support couldn't handle the pressure? As plans were outlined and responsibilities assigned, Alex's mind raced with possibilities, but soon he found himself alone with Lily again, both of them catching their breath. "What now?" she asked, her eyes glimmering with mischief. He shrugged, a playful smile crinkling his lips. We make it about more than just a fair. We create a connection, right here, right now. Right, she agreed, and they both knew the stakes were bigger than any of them could fully grasp. The energy in the room buzzed as ideas spiraled, transformed into a vision bigger than they ever imagined. But just then, the front door opened again. This time, it was more than just one officer. A small group followed him in, looking serious and intent. Alex's heart sank, dread curling in his stomach. What could this mean? Here we go again, he murmured to Lily, the wheels of uncertainty already grinding in his mind. What if they're not on our side? She whispered back, a glimmer of fear breaking her usual confidence. As the officers moved to the center of the room, all eyes turned in a whirlwind of anxiety and curiosity. Were they here to help or to hinder? The answer loomed heavy, a shadow cast over everything they hoped to achieve. Just as the police officers entered, a hush fell over the room. Anxiety fluttered in every heart, their shared dreams hanging precariously in the balance. Alex's pulse quickened, the weight of the moment pressing on him like a winter's chill. One officer stepped forward, a stern expression shadowing his face, but Alex sensed the slightest trace of curiosity behind his eyes. When he spoke, his voice was clear but measured, resonating through the uneasy crowd. We received reports about a large gathering and wanted to ensure everything was in order. Lily swallowed hard, stepping just enough into Alex's line of sight that his fear coalesced into a flicker of hope. We're organizing a community fair, she said, her voice steady. To support families affected by recent hardships. The officer raised an eyebrow, glancing around the room at the eager faces turned anxiously toward him. And how do you plan to manage the situation? Noise levels, permits, safety. We'll be respectful, Alex chimed in, stepping forward right beside Lily, feeling emboldened by their shared mission. This isn't just about fun, it's about lifting each other up. We intend to keep everything organized and safe. His words lingered, filling the charged air. The officers exchanged glances, silently weighing their options. Then, to Alex's astonishment, the leading officer nodded slowly, a begrudging approval warming his features. If you can work with the community and keep things orderly, I don't see a reason to intervene. Just keep it peaceful, and reach out to us if you need assistance. Cheers erupted from the volunteers, a wave of relief washing over Alex and Lily. Yet as the officers began to pull back slightly, he felt another surge of responsibility rise within him. They were gaining an unexpected ally, one who could amplify their cause instead of quelling it. With that thought igniting his spirit, Alex turned to the crowd, feeling the energy shift alongside him. Let us turn this moment into a testament to what we can accomplish together. Let us invite the officers, let them see the strength of our community. A chorus of agreement followed. People nodded, excitement bubbling as they envisioned a vibrant gathering, bridging gaps and celebrating collective resilience. As the momentum grew, Alex caught Lily's eye. Will you help me plan it? He asked, his heart racing. Of course, she smiled, her determination sparking like fireworks. We'll make this happen. In that moment, Alex realized this was more than just a fair. It had transformed into a movement, a chance to redefine their connection to each other, their pasts, and their hopes for the future. They shifted into action, voices flowing freely as they brainstormed ideas, from fundraising to games that showcased community talent. The atmosphere around them thickened with an intoxicating blend of shared purpose and enthusiasm. Later that day, as the sun dipped low on the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over their budding plans, Alex sat in a huddle with Lily and a handful of volunteers. His heart brimmed with hope, the chaos of the alley now a catalyst for change. He looked at the faces around him, the tired yet determined smiles, the shared laughter, the reminder that, indeed, they could build something greater. What we're really doing here, Alex said, injecting passion in his tone, is layering compassion on top of compassion, community support on top of community support. Each act of kindness, no matter how small, matters. Nods of agreement bounced around the circle, and he felt energized just by the presence of these individuals from all walks of life, united in their vision, but amidst this optimistic horizon, moments of doubt would still roll in like storm clouds. Could they keep the spark alive when faced with future challenges? Would they weather the storms that lay ahead? As their meeting drew to a close, the excitement had surged, but so had the question: would their collective fire burn bright enough to sustain this movement beyond just one evening? For Alex, standing at this dawn of change, determination and uncertainty intertwined like sunlight and shadow. But beneath those shimmers of apprehension lay a heart full of love and optimism, eager to redefine not just his own future, but the world around him. He turned to Lily one last time, their gazes locking with a promise of resilience. Together, they would face whatever came next, whatever doubts resurfaced, hearts entwined in the dance toward a brighter tomorrow, and so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, they took their first true step into a new life, a life rich with the promise of love, connection, and community that they would nurture together no matter the storms ahead. If you feel inspired by this journey, make sure you subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your love. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this transformative ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible message. You need to support the channel, so don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand that together, we can make a difference.